All right, so let's see if we can get the Twidosuite up and running, get everything set up for this guy, and then get it talking to the factory IO, and then we'll do a 2-wire control just to start off with. So with the Twidosuite, we're going to start off with the programming mode. Taking a little bit of time to come in here. Nice. Okay, so we're going to create a new project. We're going to call this guy 2-wire control. We'll hit create. Nice. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to describe. And we're going to replace this guy with the PLC that we actually have. See you later. Okay, so the base that we have is a compact base, and we have the CAE 40 DRF. So we're going to grab this guy, we're going to left click and hold the left mouse button down, drag it over, and then drop it onto the page. There we go. Once we've got that guy in, we've also got the analog card. So let's go to expansion modules, analog expansions, and let me just double check I believe this is a TM2 AMM6HT. So just double check with the analog card that is beside you, your PLC. Looks good. Once those guys are there, then we're going to double click on the Ethernet connection. And the address that I have here for my IP address needs to be configured. So we're going to hit this, configured. I'm going to drop in our Ethernet address 192.168.2.11, and there's our subnet mask that just comes in automatically. And then if you click on the gateway address, it should be the same as well. Looks good. I'm not going to put in the touchscreen or anything yet. We're just doing the PLC. So we'll hit OK. Excellent. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into program. Okay, so let's drop in all of our I/O that we covered in the previous video there. So let's bring up our factory I/O. We're going to go to File and Drivers. Excellent. Okay, and everything's already set up from the previous video there. So let's start off by just typing in each of these addresses here. So for input 0, that's going to be our e-stop. Here, let's see if we can make these guys smaller, and then we can have both on the screen at the same time. Otherwise, whenever I hit the Twidosuite, and then all of a sudden I lose the factory I/O. So let's make this guy a little bit larger. Nice, and we'll just move this guy over just a touch. Right on. Now we can see everything. Oh, that's cool. The factory I/O moves over so you can see the values easily and nothing's covered up there. Okay, so first one we're going to do is emergency stop. You know what? Let's just do e-stop. And again, whenever you type these guys in, regardless if it's lowercase or uppercase, it always makes it uppercase when you're done. Okay, this next one is stop button. So we'll do stop push button. Then the next one is the start. Then what have we got? We got the reset. And we've got the selector switch. Nice. Let's make this like this so that we're not crowding everything. And what else do we have? We have the diffuse sensor. Beautiful. Those are all of our inputs, 0 through 5. 0 through 5 looks good. And then we'll scroll down here to the bottom here, and here are the outputs. So I left the output 0 open just so I could match up these lights with the actual inputs so they were identical numbers. So this one right here is what? The red indicator. Okay, then we've got what? Green. And yellow. Right on. Okay, so that takes care of these guys. Then we've got the stack light red. And then following that, we've got stack light green. And we've got stack light yellow. Beautiful. Okay, then what have we got? Next thing for input number 7, sorry, output number 7 is our alarm siren. Okay, then below that we've got the roller conveyor. And then we have our push button indicator lights. So again, we have the red push button light. Then we've got the green push button light. And finally, we've got the yellow push button light. Easy now. Right on. And that's everything that we've taken care of there. And you know what? Let's do this and just say stop. Okay. Let's change that to stop. Okay, that's annoying. Looks good. And this guy was the reset, just so we know what we're talking about. Sweet. Okay, now we can go right to program, or we can hit apply. Either one, we're going to apply the changes. So we'll hit apply here. Looks good. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit program to bring up our ladder diagram. So now that we have all of our I/O already labeled, what we can do first is just drop in a rung, and as we add in our instructions and type in the name, then they should come up, and we can just drop those names in there. So we're going to do a 2-wire control, so we're going to use an XIC, and we'll have that controlling the conveyor, right? So we'll use, what are we going to use? Let's use just the start push button, and we'll build up and we'll make sure that when we hit the start push button that it turns on the conveyor. Now the start push button was what? Input 0.2. So we're going to type in input 0.2 and hit enter. Looks good. Now let's just see whether if we put start, no, it's not like the Siemens where it brings it right up. So again, percent input 0.2, and because we've already labeled it, that label comes in. Okay, our conveyor, the outputs are Q, and the conveyor is what? Q08, right? 0.8. Excellent. Okay, so when we hit this push button, then we're going to turn on the conveyor, and let's drop in some lights as well. So in addition to that, we're going to do another rung here, and we'll say when the conveyor is on, so we'll examine that it's on, then we'll turn on a green light. So we're going to label this the same as the conveyor, so percent Q 0.8. Looks good. And over here, we're going to have the output, and let's do the stack light. So the stack light for green is output 0.5. That's Q 0.5. Excellent. Okay. If the conveyor is not on, then we're going to drop in another rung and use an XIC. So this is examining that it's closed or on, or that there's voltage. In this case, the voltage is going out to the light. And in this case, we're examining that the conveyor is actually on. This XIO is examining that something is off or a 0 in the memory. So as long as this is a 0 in the memory or there's no voltage going out to the conveyor, let's turn on the red stack light. Okay, so we'll hit that. And we're going to do the conveyor again, so Q 0.8. And that's going to turn on our stack light. So that is percent Q 0. Stack light for red is 4. Sweet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll compile this. So the compile is right here. And instead of compile, it says analyze the program. So we're going to click on this guy and double check that everything's cool, that we have no errors. It has one error right here. No start in run was selected. Okay, I think we're good to go though, because everything has a green light. Looks good. So let's see if we can download this to the PLC now. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to come up here to Preference. And when we click on this, it brings up this window here where it gives us a bunch of information on the project. And then down at the bottom, it provides us with our connections to the PLC. So at this point, I've already done a number of projects. And so it's come up with COM4, and it's also come up with my Ethernet connection. But that's because I've already previously set this up. So what I'm going to do first, and what you're going to do if you don't have the Ethernet connection, is you're going to use the serial cable first. The name of the serial cable is TSX CUS B485. So TSX CUS B485. I'll put a link in the description below. So that one is the one that goes from USB to the serial connection on the front face of the PLC. So in order to find out which COM port you're actually connected to, we're going to type in here on our search device manager. Okay. If I can spell today. You'd think it would be smart enough that I could pick that up. Okay, there we go. Okay, device manager. And we're going to open this guy up now. And if we scroll down, then we'll be able to see, where is it? There we go, Universal Serial Bus Controllers. So we'll open this guy up, and we can see here the TSX CUSB 45 is connected there. Okay, so the device is working properly. If it's not working properly, you can go to the driver, and you can try to update the driver to get it to work. I found that sometimes it just doesn't come in. It's not worth fighting with. It's best just to turn your computer on and off with the cable connected up, and it will, if you have the driver, it'll connect up to it. But sometimes fighting it just doesn't work if it's not working properly. Okay, but I don't think that one showed us the COM port that it was connected to. Oh, here we go, port 0004. So it does tell us that it's connected up to COM4. Anything else that tells us that? No, it doesn't tell us anything else aside from the fact that it does say port 004 right there. Another place to see which COM port it's connected up to is to scroll up here, go to your ports. This is going to be minimized here, so you'll open up your ports, and then right there you can see the TSX CUSB 485 is connected up to COM4. So that's the way you can determine which COM port to actually grab when you're doing this connection here. Okay, so let's go back to the Twidosuite. We've already got the COM port in. At this point, you probably don't have the Ethernet connection in, but you can provide this one. So you're just going to hit Add, and it'll come up with an Ethernet connection, and then you can drop in the IP address that is provided for you on the Lamicoid on your PLC. Okay, or you can just make up an Ethernet connection based off of whatever your computer's IP address is as well. Now, how do you know what your IP address is for your computer? Well, we're going to type down here command prompt. Okay, and then we're going to put in IP config and hit enter, and it gives us all the information on our computer. So we can see here that the address for the computer that I'm using right now is 192.168.2.230. Subnet mask is exactly what we saw before with the PLC, 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway is 192.168.2.1. So you can grab an IP address that matches with this value right here, and then just give another value instead of 230. If you're working in the lab, then you have to give the exact IP address for the PLC at your station. There's a Lamicoid right there that tells you that IP address. Okay, so we've got our COM port, we've got our connection now. I don't need this guy right here, so I'm going to get rid of that guy. Okay, once those guys are in, then we're going to scroll up to the top, and we're going to hit apply. And now we're ready to drop this onto the PLC. We're now going to go back to program. Okay, once we're in program here, then it looks like I've made a small change there. So let's drop this down to our PLC. So the next thing we're going to go to is debug. So previously we were here in preference. We're going to go to debug. Okay, we're going to use the COM port here. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can see what we're doing. And we're going to try to establish communication with the PLC now. Looks good. Okay, we're going to transfer from the PC to the controller. If you were in trouble and you had lost your program, you can download the existing program from the controller to the PC. But we're doing this guy right here, from our computer to the controller. So we're going to left click on this guy and then hit OK. Looks like we're going to overwrite whatever is there. Takes a little bit of time for the program to go in. It's transferring all the data right now. Once the program is actually in there and you're just making minor changes, then it shouldn't take this long to transfer in. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our PLC program. It looks like everything's running right now, but it's not actually, because you can see here that we have a yellow light on the run. So we're going to hit the play button. We're going to launch the controller, and we're waiting for this to be a green light. Nice, there we go. Now we're talking to the PLC. So you can see that as soon as we did that, the stack light came on here. Let's minimize this so we can see our factory I/O. Looks good. And let's see if we can make this guy a little bit bigger now. Excellent. Okay, so if you're not in the run mode yet, then again, you're going to go to drivers. If you haven't connected in yet, then you're going to hit connect, and you're using, again, the 4750 from the USB Advantech, okay, from your drivers list right here. That was from the previous video. Then we're going to go back to this window right here, and we're going to hit play. Sweet, and as soon as we did that, you can see that the red light turned on right away. Let me just scroll out a touch so we can see everything going on. And you can see that right now the conveyor is not on. So this is true because this is an XIO or examine if off. The conveyor is off, so the red light is on right here for stack light now on the output number 4. Excellent. So all it's waiting for is for us to hit this push button for the start. So once we press this guy, then this will be true. The conveyor will turn on and the green light will turn on as well, and the red light should turn off. Ready in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Let me turn up the volume here. There we go, and then you'll see over on the right hand side that the pallets will disappear there. Cool, eh? You can change the timing of when the pallets are coming out of the emitter. We'll leave that for another video. This is simply a 2-wire, so as soon as I let go of the initiating push button right here, then the conveyor should turn off, the green light should turn off as well, and the red light should turn back on. Beautiful. So a 2-wire is just like at the grocery store when you're trying to get your groceries to come down, or your kids are pressing the conveyor and all your groceries are going to the end. So just by pressing this push button, then it turns on. Hang on, let me just move this over. That's frustrating because I keep hitting the tag there. Okay, so pressing this guy turns on my conveyor and turns on the green light to show that I'm in the run position. Excellent. If we wanted to see our tags as well, then we can go here and dock all the tags. That shows us everything that's going on right now. We can see that the emitter and the remover are both forced. They're not part of our program whatsoever. The stack light is on right now in the red light. And when we press this push button right here, then we should find that the green light turns on and our conveyor, where's our conveyor? Roller conveyor here should turn on as well. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay, so everything's working nicely. Let's see if we can get rid of these guys first. So we'll clear the dock tags. We use the serial cable to talk to our PLC. Let's disconnect right now. And let's see if we can connect in with the Ethernet cable. Okay, excellent. And let's see if this guy is working now. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect my serial cable. And putting that initial program on there, we dropped in the IP address onto the PLC. So let's see if we can connect in. Right now I have my connection from the computer into the switch and from the switch over to the PLC. Okay, so let's try and connect up with the Ethernet now. Let's hit OK. And of course that didn't work. What I forgot to do was I forgot to connect up to my modem at home. So you have to be connected to the network. The switch alone doesn't allow you to talk to it. So I've now reestablished that. I've gone into my settings, reset my Ethernet connection here. And so I'm cool. It says it doesn't have a valid IP configuration, but it should be fine now. So let's close these guys up and let's try and establish communication again. Yes, there we go. Okay, and it just clicked in right away because the program was exactly the same. Nice. And it looks like it's already in run mode as well. Okay, let's just make sure that we're working properly with the factory I/O. Let's get rid of this guy. We're in the play mode again. Let's scroll out. Let's get rid of our sensor tag so I don't have to click that. I can just hit this push button and have it working properly. Nice. There we go. All right, so we've been able to set up everything on our Twido PLC. We're able to initially set up with the serial cable. We disconnected the serial cable. When we had dropped in our previous program, we dropped in our IP address. And then as long as you have your connection into the hub for the room or your hub into your modem, then you should be able to connect up with your Ethernet connection and you won't require that serial cable again. All right, guys, that's pretty good for our first video on the Twidosuite and the factory I/O. Keep going in the playlist and we'll build up on this 2-wire control and we'll drop in a stop push button and we'll drop in a holding contact as well to provide us with the 3-wire control. We'll see you in the next video.